Tillamook? Yeah, we couldn't even say it, let alone have any clue as to where it might be. When you buy your first Jeep, it's like a whole new world just opened up. It really is amazing where it'll take you. Now, it turns out this hidden gem has only been a Jeep Jamboree destination for about 3 years, but word is seeping out. The Jamboree permit opens up logging roads leading to areas that the masses will never have the privilege to see, and so group size is limited. But first, a meeting.
Good morning. Thank you guys for coming to the 3rd annual Tillamook Jeep Jamboree.
The Northwest coastal area, it kind of has its own unique feel. An economy supported by quiet dairy farms and a massive logging industry also attracts millions of visitors each year. But how many visitors never get off the pavement and past the gift shops? Our Jeeps take us to pristine areas, inaccessible, even lost to, regular people. When was the last time you left it all behind and enjoyed a sunset drive on a quiet beach? The northwest part of Oregon is constantly being drenched. It is, in fact, one of the wettest areas in the United States. Now, we only mention this impressive fact to point out the fly-in-the-face of logic event that took place in 1933 during the heart of the Depression. Loggers of the day were in a rush to finish a job and were using cables to drag huge logs to a mill. Well, one of those cables is said to have generated a spark that would ignite 500,000 acres of over 400-year-old water-soaked forest. Apparently, once a fire gets going, a little rain is not a deterrent. Over the next 18 years, it became almost a trend. Man-made fires so massive, covering such an expansive time, that the period was given a name, the Tillamook Burn. It was a little chilly and damp, but when's that ever been a problem? I'm pretty sure everyone was checking out the impromptu show and shine and to make sure that their Jeep was comparably equipped, awesome, and capable. With a quick selfie and a verification of correct trail lineup, we couldn't help but notice that a number of the trails had names referring to Jeeps, bodily harm, trail descriptions, and of course some fire references. Now, you won't have time to hit every trail on just one Jamboree, so we selected Ginsberg to start with. It was game on. The Jeep Jamboree is serious about protecting the areas we travel. Learning from the past, fire extinguishers and shovels are mandatory to participate. It never hurts to have a road to the trail filled with interesting and beautiful sights. It was then that we realized that just a few years ago, this area was considered lost, burned to the ground wasteland. We continued down the logging road, one with young trees pushing up around old stumps. Without any information or understanding of today's logging industry, onlookers would probably be appalled to see so many acres of new clear-cut mountain. In the past, they'd had a good reason. Deforestation was the norm. And why not? The forest was a seemingly endless resource. then came the burns. It was thought that the forest would never recover. Count on Mother Nature to prove us wrong. Once the top of the trail was reached, the view brought a better understanding of the big picture. The forest is, in fact, a renewable resource. The Ginsberg Trail is more of a scenic run. Yes, dodge some trees, but most every Jeeper would be comfortable exploring the dark green colors of the forest. It seemed like even the dead stuff was alive. On a dry day, the trail would probably mostly be done in two-wheel drive, but finding a dry day in this forest, it's tough. The word obstacle on the Ginsberg Trail is really a section of steeper trail. With just a light sprinkle of rain mixed with a dash of slick clay and the occasional boulder for fun. As we wound our way up the incline, the trail became more and more fun. Jeepers that took the advice of their experienced trail guides and aired down their tires to 15 psi or so had good success, even without mud tires.
All right, try it right there. He's got slicks on now.
A good set of aired down mud tires would make all the difference.
Come on. You gotta get on it. Come on. Oh, he's never going to live it down.
But let's take a look at a set of all-terrain tires
Now, you're done. You're going to have to back
with
up.
full highway pressure in them.
Straight back.
How to make an easy trail hard. Yes, our TeraFlex representatives chose to avoid the rain and not get out of the warm, dry Jeep to air down. Hey, it was cold, and how hard could the trail be? With 37-inch tires and front and rear lockers coupled with exceptional driving skills, shouldn't be a problem. We got this. Yeah, or not.
Poor tires.
It's really hard to believe that the trails we were enjoying were once described as something out of Dante's Paradise Lost, charred desolation surrounded by the river Styx. Even with the constant hammering of the area with man-made fires, the resilience of Mother Nature is something to behold. The logging roads provide passage to sections of the forest that would have been completely inaccessible. Jeepers are a strange bunch. A stump in the trail or a nasty squeeze are actually a welcome challenge. But a conquered, steep, muddy uphill while winding through trees will provide meet and greet stories for years to come. The burns have been almost completely erased. With each accident, the logging industry learned and adjusted. The loggers took full responsibility for the fires. They funded the research as well as the cleanup. They even established their own fire department. With private and environmental researchers working together, the sky is falling crowd was ignored, and they began planting seedlings in 1949 and continued on through the 70s. The combined efforts of man and nature started to take hold, and the forest was reborn. In 1973, it became known as the Tillamook State Forest. One of the best ideas that the logging industry ever had was to post signs informing us of when an area had been planted. The transformation or renovation that has happened at Tillamook should rank right up there with, transforming a mountain into presidents' heads. It's amazing that the Tillamook story is not front-page news. But then agendas can get in the way of business/environmental success stories. Coming down the mountain and following the appropriately named Jeep Trail was a new adventure. The trail was so narrow and winding that it was tough to even open the door to get a picture. Just say, for example, that you were growing less interested in looking at trees and you felt like you might need a change of scenery. Make it so. Tillamook, there's no place like it. Time marches on. Early loggers just struggling to survive brought tragedy and desolation. But from the ashes of their mistakes, failures were corrected to the benefit of future generations.